told the people after everything was settled down, he wanted to catch young Cheyenne girls. And the scouts told the Cheyennes, Custer, Chitstye. We don't call them yellow hair. That's a more contemporary name. But it's long-haired Custer, long-haired officer. He took 2 of the 70-some plus soldiers, made them stand at a teepee ring where the Cheyennes lived, had their teepees. They only went halfway, what I understand from my parents and relatives. Those Crow Scouts told them they knew about this camp. And they told Custer and his men they were gonna be annihilated. So the stories, that's what I heard. And as we celebrate this 150-year anniversary, I'm going to sing a song. This song was used in a victory celebration after the Battle of Little Bighorn. And I'll explain after I get done singing it. Oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey. Oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey. Oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, hey. Chesta, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey. Jehovah nöta och minöta, nisa ett stavnina. In translation of the part language of that weird song, victory song, those Cheyenne words in there says, long-haired, you come to round us up, but you're not going to accomplish. Here it goes. Hokkahe! Hiya!
Next, we have Dr.
This gentleman that was talking here from the Ute tribe, Cheyenne captured that little boy when he was little, Bro Cheyenne Way. When this battle took place, his Indian name is Hiyowes, Yellow Nose. He was the one that took the flag from Custer. It was pushed into a sagebrush, and this Yellow Nose, he always took that flag, and that's what they used. And they had victory dance.
Next, I welcome Dr. Lanny Reelbird, who's an Indigenous language advocate and storyteller for Montana communities.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the commemoration of the 150th anniversary of the Little Bighorn Battle. What I'm about to do today is do a rendition of the Plains Indian Sign Language describing the battle. I will be using periodically some of the Crow language. I'll be throwing in some Lakota, and it'll be a account of the battle using sign language that many people have not observed before. And at this time, I will describe the battle with my hands. It was a medium of how many of our tribes here in this region communicated. It wasn't with English, how they use that in the United Nations. Back in the day, we needed that language to communicate trade. We received intelligence. We went on bluffs and we talked about seeing deer over there. And we'll talk about the Plains Indian Sign Language with this rendition. Ilaga, bara peligeza chuhu peliga, rite ka mtia wat charge ka lagala kiri na koda lor ina ek chuakusa ikya bukala daga ko ayan mastire kisete ko is majetu kolala kala kona ayan da koda la pol ka zapusa kondo riwat khauge galasha Konili shell get asha kota ek balela. Komaola to kina kukala ek odam kukala budget dada to kina ek custer horse. Karagon kukala ola do. Ek and hit go walk singing up ek jo karagon data ek hit karagon ma jail ek balela a bubble. Kon kutta karakona ayan do gayan da kodela kolala ayan apsaro ga is kede go komai ga do pata dila amen ega chaku salage ko chowa ayan ia hokedo kota apa akusaja ayan apanoba yo. The people that helped him at that time were the wolves of the Crow and the Arikara. They told him, but he was blank to chibit. Karagon bat chat devi, but jay wat chat he go kamala shite hard. Kolala karagone got passa in that upstream there. Karagon do in the koda do iron is bajeto egg cheetah watches sitting boat there egg I want eat it Cold, crazy horse will go. There, iron a sauce pusher is budget to one head of Kina, Kolala, Odom Hila, Malaysia week, 2 moons, Hados, Koma, iron a sauce pusher, Cold is the 60 to go, Kalagon no, a bus lagala, Kalagon no, Hedo, Dela, Hina Odom Kukala, Hina Shroida, couldn't buy Igya, Reno. Cook hey Nasa, he didn't go amongst them. From the hillside, should shut the could dagger go my guy. Basaba said that guy was afraid to help his partner that day. Karagon to this Karagon, but you know what charging Karagon took to the game on a pocket. A gosh, I know the lecture, how a go color is idiot. They use their hands to fight, some of them. Some of them got hit. Some of them, they knocked some of those people down. It was just chaos. And here comes some of the Dakota, some of the Lakota, some of the other Oyate of the Asashfuta, the Cheyennes, also the Arapaho. They came over that bridge to help their allies. And there was this day, when the sun was over this way to where it is now, that all those arrows were flying. People were using knives to go at each other. They were defending their identity, their freedom. Freedom, they're thinking, if we become like the white man, we're going to be prisoners. So they fought to hold the ground. And that time, all that fighting was going on. Amigo Kaja, hey, that son of the morning star, over in the Medicine Tail Coulee, they knocked him down. Some of the Cheyenne ladies from the account of Spotted Wolf told my grandpa that he went down in there, and then his soldiers, because he was one of the leaders, they wouldn't leave his body there. So they took it, and then they drug it. On that hill, he was already gone, but they were still fighting. The arrows were coming. The guns were being fired. All the people were around there, and they were defending their freedom. And that is kind of a story that I wanted to share with you today, that you don't see these types of... I was speaking sign language, one of the Arapaho tribal members, the relatives, and he was telling me he was going to have a pipe ceremony. That traffic was backed up. I couldn't make it up here. A while ago, I had to park down by the road and walk up here. So that's what I'm using, is this sign language that we had to use when we traded. When we went out to gain intelligence, we would see somebody way far away and they say, "Oh, what did you see over there?" "We seen a bunch of people, they're coming." "Well then, go count how many there are." "Okay." That guy would say, and they would go to that camp and they would use the pace of a human walk. And they would say, "It took me from where the sun is now to the sun later on in the evening, and that amount of time, that's what it took me to go around that camp." So there's that many there. And that's how they were describing. And sometimes if we were hunting, we would say that there's a bunch of deer over there on that ridge. When you go around there, I want you two boys to go over there to scare them. Some of us will be over there and we'll be ready to knock them down. And then we'll clean them up and we'll have something really good to eat. So I just wanted to share that rendition of how they described the Battle of the Little Bighorn right down there using the Plains Indian Sign Language. I'll end it like that, and I want to thank you for the time. Fight for your freedom, everybody. This is what it's about. Without your language, you are going to be conquered. With your language, your culture, your worldview, you're going to continue on, and this legacy that you have of this history, whether you think we're enemies or not, we're not. We're all same people. I was showing some people, children from Eagle Butte early this morning, showing them Lakota with sign language. Hiya, Washte, Shija, Hiyu. And we had a class down by the Little Bighorn River. And what we were doing is preserving our language, maintaining our language. And I go around and I tell stories like this for the Montana Committee for Humanities, and I also work with across Canada as a storyteller and a language advocate. And I just wanted to share that with you today on this beautiful day, that sometimes you write your own history. You maintain your stories, because somebody else will come in and say, "Hey, you guys were enemies." No, we camped together. The River Crow were allies of the Ogallala. The Mountain Crows were allies of the Sango. They had ceremonies together of the tail bustle dance. They camped together and they had festivities. When the people like the Masons and those fraternities like the Knights of Columbus say we're enemies, our people begin to believe that. What that is divide and conquer. So if you believe somebody else's history, you forgot yours. Bring yours back. Okay, bud.
That's good, brother. Yeah, that's all right. That was a long time ago.
Test. There we go. Next, I'm going to welcome representatives from Senator Tim Sheehy's office and Senator Gail Lammer's office.
Senator Gail Lammers.
Oh, Senator Gail Lammers, please come up first. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. What a great day today. The weather's kind of cooled off, kind of chilling out. I was cooking over there. My wife forgot to put some sunscreen on my head. It's been kind of a rough day for me so far. But anyway, I'm Gail Lammers. I'm the senator for Senate District 21. I represent the all the way from Ashland back to Billings, Montana. And I also have the pleasure of having the Crow tribes and the Cheyenne tribes and Northern Cheyenne in my district. And I've grown up here my entire life, and it's just always been a fantastic experience for me. The unity and what I've seen here today is something that is just amazing to me. All these tribes, all these wonderful leaders of all these great communities coming together and having peace, right? It's something we need to be more in line with in America as a whole, in the state, everywhere. It's something I always strive for in our communities, in the state, in the legislature. And this place has a really special meaning to me. My father and I, we used to take a ride. We'd start up in Hardin and we'd take Dunmore, we'd take the frontage road. Had some of our best conversations on that road. We'd talk about old Custer, old son of the morning star, as the Crows call him. And we'd talk about what he did wrong and how it's dangerous to rush into situations and how you need to be humble. And we drive up here and we come visit my grandfather Gail, who I'm named after, over here in the cemetery, and we talk a little about it, and it just gets me thinking. And up there in the legislature, something that was really important to me, we got a great big beautiful mural up there in the state senate. It's a Custer. He's going at it, and I call it my window home. And whenever I'm up there, I look at that mural when we're down there in that Senate floor, and I think to myself, stay humble. Try and hear every side of the argument, just like we're doing here today. Everybody is coming together with their different renditions, their stories, and we're united. And that is just something that I think this event has done so amazingly. And I want to thank all of the park rangers, all of the superintendents, the Crow tribe, the Cheyenne tribe, all the tribes in attendance. It's just been so amazing listening to all these speeches, and the power and the unity that I'm seeing here today is just something just so amazing to me. And so I'll end up with this. I think we do more things like this. We should do this next year. We should do it for more years to come. Let's all go camping, have a fantastic time together, and we're just going to keep this unity rolling. We'll bring it to the state, we'll bring it to the legislature, and hopefully things like this can come to our nation, bring us together. We're tired of being divided. And I just want to thank you all again. I really appreciate this opportunity. One thing I learned up here, with hanging around with my brothers in the Crow a lot, is you got to be ready to pick up a mic. I wasn't ready to speak, but I said I'm headed up there. So, I really just want to thank everybody for being here. Really proud of everyone. And let's have a fun, safe weekend and just have a good time. Hello!
Good afternoon, everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm the superintendent here at the battlefield, James
Can't hear you!
I'm the superintendent here at the battlefield, James Stovitsky. I just want to right now say thank you to Senator Gail Lammers. He has been extremely helpful, not only with the battlefield, but also with this anniversary. He was instrumental in getting us the flyover this morning, also the connections with the parking lot. He has been a huge help to the battlefield, and just want to come up here and say thank you to him. Thank you so much. Too bad.
Next, we have representatives from Senator Tim Sheehy's office.
Hello everyone, my name is Wesley DeJulio. I represent Senator Tim Sheehy throughout central and eastern Montana. I have a letter to read on his behalf, but first I just wanted to say thank you for all coming out. This is a huge honor to be here and be able to speak here. So thank you for sharing the stories that I've heard so far, and after this I look forward to hearing many more. Fellow Montanans, thank you for allowing me to address you here today, and I regret that I could not be with you in person. Thank you to the families, descendants, and visitors who have traveled from across Montana and around the country to be here. I'm grateful that we can come together to commemorate such an important piece of not only Montana's history, but our nation's history. People continue to travel here from across the country and the world because what happened on this land remains an important part of our shared history. The story of Little Bighorn has been studied, debated, remembered, and passed down for generations, and 150 years later, still holds an important place in the story of Montana and of our nation. As we gather here today, we do not do so to celebrate that conflict, but to honor the sacrifices and remember those who lost their lives on this ground 150 years ago. Today is an opportunity to reflect on our shared history and the responsibility we all have in preserving it. By doing so, we ensure that future generations will continue to understand the significance of this place and the lasting impact it has had on Montana and our nation. Thank you for being here today. May God bless you, the great state of Montana, and the United States of America. Sincerely, Senator Tim Sheehy. Thank you.
Next, we have representatives from Congressman Troy Downing's office.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zoe Stroop. I am the field representative for Congressman Downing here throughout South Central Montana. I just want to thank everyone for being here today, whether your travel was long or short. The attendance here is truly a testament to how monumental today was in shaping our nation's history. I also want to thank the Park Service for allowing me to read a letter on behalf of the Congressman. It truly is an honor. Tribal leaders, veterans, fellow Montanans, and friends in the history of the American West. On June 25th and 26th, along the Little Bighorn River, warriors of the Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, soldiers of the United States Army during a pivotal moment in the Great Sioux War. 150 years later, we gather to recognize and commemorate the people whose lives were shaped by those events. Little Bighorn Battlefield remains a place of deep national, historical, cultural, and spiritual significance for the Crow Nation, whose home, and for the Lakota and Northern Cheyenne and Arapaho peoples whose ancestors fought here. It is a place of remembrance and reflection. It is also a place where we honor the soldiers who lost their lives and recognize the lasting impact of the conflict on families and communities across generations. This anniversary offers an opportunity to reflect on history. By remembering these events with honesty and our understanding of the many peoples and perspectives that have shaped tribal leaders, historians, educators, veterans, and community its many stories. Their efforts ensure that generations can learn from the past and appreciate its enduring significance long into the future. On this 150th anniversary, let us honor the memory of all those who were present and all whose lives were touched by its legacy. May we continue to preserve this history with care, respect, and a commitment to understanding. Sincerely, Congressman Troy Downing.
Next, we invite up representatives from Senator Steve Daines' office.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Tori Colkhorst. I represent U.S. Senator Steve Daines across South Central Montana, and I know that there are folks visiting here today from all over the world, so to each of you, I just want to say welcome. And with that, I have a message to share. Dear friends, thank you for the opportunity to share a few words as we gather to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Little Bighorn. This historic milestone happens to coincide with America's 250th anniversary. As our nation reflects on 2.5 centuries of history, we acknowledge our homeland was shaped by sacrifice, resilience, and historical events, much like the one that took place on this very ground. 150 years ago, one of America's most renowned and consequential battles took place here in the Little Bighorn Valley. We remember the powerful leadership of Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Chief Gall, and Two Moons, among many other leaders. And we remember Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer and his 7th Cavalry, along with the brave Crow and Arikara warriors who fought alongside them. The conflict between the U.S. Army and warriors of these tribal nations marked a pivotal moment in our nation's history and demonstrates the strength and courage of the Plains people. Today, we continue to see this legacy of service and sacrifice as Native Americans serve in the U.S. Armed Forces at some of the highest rates per capita, more than any other group. Their contributions highlight their warrior spirit and their commitment to protecting others, no matter the cost. The Little Bighorn battlefield draws approximately 200,000 visitors from around the world each year to walk the grounds, learn the history, and pay respects to those who are laid to rest. I am confident these grounds will continue to draw folks in from near and far for centuries to come. May God bless the United States of America and all who shaped her into the greatest country the world has ever known. Sincerely, Steve Daines, United States Senator.
And last we have Commissioner Jim Brown here as well.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. That was a bit of an underwhelming introduction. I asked that I be introduced as James Brown because that is my name. And I know you're all excited to see the white James Brown. So it is truly a pleasure to be here today, and I would say, as an initial matter, Shoda. I am very pleased and honored to speak on behalf of the state of Montana and its people today. What an honor it is for this Montana kid to be present here today as we celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Little Bighorn, as we remember those who were present on these hallowed lands so many years ago. I'm a fourth-generation Montanan. My great-grandfather homesteaded down near Bannock, Montana, in Beaver Head County in 1882. I grew up here, and you can imagine I was educated here. And in school, we learned that the Battle of the Greasy Grass shaped both our history as a state and our shared identity as Montanans and Americans. As a young man, I was enthralled with the story of those who fought here. The names of Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, and George Custer seemed larger than life to me as a young man, and frankly, they still do. One of my fondest memories is of my father driving me here in the early 1980s to visit the battlefield in person for the very first time. I can remember imagining what this place must have looked like in 1876 and just the beauty of it all. I imagine what it must have been like for Custer and his men at the moment when they knew that this would be their final resting place. As a child, I thought of history as something different, something you could study, memorize, and neatly understand, but that's really not the case, is it? Standing here today as an adult, I've come to realize that Montana's history, especially the Battle of Little Bighorn, is not distant at all. The battle and its aftermath live on with those who grew up here and the Treasure State. The history of the Greasy Grass prompts us to think more deeply about the clash of cultures and the resilience of Montana's native populations. And its history refuses to be simple or neatly packaged. For the tribes and the nations that participated here as represented by the flags behind me, this was not an isolated fight. The battle was a defense of their homes, their families, and their futures. The clash was made even more pressing by the discovery of gold in the Black Hills, as we know, and the pressure continued as westward expansion transformed the way of life for the native populations. The Battle of Little Bighorn was a moment of unity and strength by native peoples in the face of immense challenges and broken promises by the federal government. And for the United States, it marked both a shocking military defeat and a turning point in a broader campaign that would bring devastating consequences to the Plains tribes. The Little Bighorn's not simply one of victory or defeat. It's a story about how this country was formed. And it's a story that I'm glad we're telling on the 250th anniversary of the United States. It's a story of blood that was shed in pursuit of what, as our founders put it in the Constitution, a more perfect union. So today, as we mark the 150th anniversary, we're not just remembering what happened here. We are also choosing how to remember it moving forward. As a Montanan, I think that matters more than ever. While this place belongs to those of us who live here now, it still carries the personal stories, as we have heard from the speakers before me, of those who came before, especially for the native nations that have called this their home for generations beyond counting. In that way, this land and its history challenge us to look honestly at the past, even when that past is uncomfortable. If there's something we're taking away from this 150th anniversary, it's not just remember, it's honoring. It's also an opportunity to understand that we have a shared responsibility to make Montana a place where there's opportunity, hope, peace, and prosperity for all in the coming together of nations, as we discussed. We have a shared responsibility to tell fuller stories, the stories that you've heard today. We have a shared responsibility to include the voices that were once ignored in this country. We have a shared responsibility to approach history not as something fixed, but as something we will always learn from in order to understand more completely. And perhaps most importantly, we have a shared responsibility to carry that understanding forward in how we live together today. Standing here as someone who grew up loving Montana history, I still feel that same sense of wonder about the landscape as I did when my father and I visited here some 40 years ago. But my perspective has changed as an adult and someone who has grown up and understands things better. My perspective is deeper now. It's rooted not just in historical fascination, but in respect. Respect for the people who fought here and for the cultures that have now endured. Montana's past is not something we inherit. Our past is something that we engage with in the present. How we choose to remember this battle and the events that took place here will shape the kind of future we build together as Montanans for the next 150 years. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. It is truly an honor as a Montana kid to be present here today. I can't even express my appreciation for the invite. I would say this: God bless the United States on its 250th birthday, and aho!
We're going to take a short break while we wait for our youth runners to arrive. So short break and then we'll begin our program again. Thank you.
You guys look good.
Is there a show about to start?
They're on break right now.
Hello. I would like to introduce Steve Leadercharge and the descendants of the first Takalas of the Great Lakota Nation at the Greasy Grass Creek, also known as the Battle of the Little Bighorn, June 25, 1876. In addition, I would also like to introduce Tom McLaughlin, an elder Vietnam combat veteran.
look good. Oh, mitakapi. Steve Tokahe nata na Mamblui Luta Namia Chante wate na pe chiuzi apilo Ba tue uo descendant Tomakaji We o hianke mitcha Lukshala Kota Yapi homospected. Good afternoon, relatives. My name is Steve Leadercharge. I'm from the Rosebud Sioux tribe, about 7 or 8 hours southeast of here. Came here today to remember, honor, educate, spread the message of Wolakota. Wolakota in Lakota means to live together in peace and harmony. 150 years ago, the battle took place. That's why we're all here. I don't want to take too much of your time, just about 4 hours. No, I'm just joking. So some of the grandfathers that I want to introduce here, I don't want to take too much time, like I said, so I'll go ahead and read their names first. From the Rosebud Sioux tribe, grandfathers gathered, went to all the agencies. My grandpa rain in the face, all of them, Crazy Horse. And they asked who wanted to come with us, live the old way, as we did before 1492. Some of them came, some of them didn't. And the ones that did come woke up to this day, 150 years ago. The infamous battle took place 150 years ago. In about another hour or so, bullets, arrows fill the air, cries of war, begging for their lives, hooves of the horses beating on the ground. And later that night, songs were sung, victory songs were made. There was even a song made for Custer's wife, who she cried because he never returned from the battle. And our grandfathers made a whole bunch of songs too that night. I'm sure some of them were sung here earlier today, and some more are going to be sung tonight. So there's the camp that's gathered right now down at the historically correct place along the Little Bighorn River. To my left, to your right. And you're all welcome down there. Come and eat with us and celebrate. But we're going to do it the Wolakota way. Peace and harmony. So these are some of the warriors from Rosebud. See, that hand, he was ambushed by here. And the scalp was taken to an East Coast museum where it was put on display for many years. A few years ago, the family got his scalp back for burial at a place called Dead Leaf on the Rosebud Reservation. Next one is white buffalo, crow dog, eagleman, brave hawk, cloudman, eagle bear, coffee, two eagle, rain in the face, today known as leader charge, said by those at the battle to be the one to take down Custer and his brother, but he always denied this. But the truth was passed down from generation to generation in his family. So today we know this is true, even though it's not in history books. Next one is Yellow Cloud, Crazy Horse, Brave, Two Strike, Bear Shield, Thin Elk, Crow Eagle, Hollow Horn Bear, E-Dog, White Lance, Buffalo Horse, iron shell, and the research is ongoing. So at this time I wanted to share some music with you, since we're fresh back from the intermission, with given talents that was given to me through this guitar and through this drum. By a spiritual and his name and the song is called Sending My Voice. Hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, ho, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, ho, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, ho, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, I ho, yeah, why, lo, hey, hey, ho. And as you can see, the Wakias are on their way. They're coming here from the southwest. And that's the direction that they always come from. So now I'd like to switch off to this guitar, the Washichu's way style. And I'm very grateful and was blessed to receive this. Here's two songs that were I think are appropriate for today. The song was written by a guy from Washington State, and he made it big in the music business in his time back in the 1960s. And the place where he's buried at, there's a statue of him by his grave. They took the whole Lakota nation and locked us on this reservation. Took away our ways of life. A tomahawk and a bow and knife. Though I wear this shirt and tie, I'm still a red man deep inside. Lakota people, Lakota tribe, so proud to live, so proud to die. Or maybe someday when we learn, Lakota people will return. They took the whole Lakota nation and locked us on this reservation. Took away our ways of life. Taught their English to our young. And though I wear this shirt and tie, I'm still a red man deep inside. Lakota people, Lakota tribe, so proud to live, so proud to die. Or maybe someday when we learn, Lakota people will return, will return, will return, will return. Thank you. So this next note I want to do is the last one for my time slot here on the agenda. I want to thank the National Park Service, United States government, for taking care of the grounds here. And every time I come here, there's always a meadowlark that comes by, but this year I don't see him. Maybe COVID got him. Oh, that was a joke. So this one is written by a friend of mine, like a brother to me. He's from the Oglala Nation. That's our neighbors to the west of us in Rosebud. But this song helped him win a talent contest in California back in the 60s. And he put it out on one of his albums that he released in the 80s. And this one's called Run It and Run. And his name was Buddy Red Bull. It goes like this. An old Indian medicine man was standing on a hilltop. This is what he was saying to his people. Run, run and run. Run while you can. Here comes the white man. He's taking our land. He's killed our buffalo. Running in, run. White man discovered your gold. Run, running in, run. Run while you can. Here comes the white man. Run through the valley that you once called home. Once where your children so playfully roam. Run, run and run. Run while you can. Here comes the white man. He's taking our land. He's killed our buffalo. Running in, run. White man discovered your gold. Run, running in, run. Run while you can. Here comes the white man. An old Indian medicine man was standing on a hilltop. This is what he was saying to his people. Run, running in, run. Run while you can. Here comes the white man. Run through the night so cold. Running in, run. White man discovered your gold. Run, run in the end, run. Run while you can. The white men are here. Run. Run in the end, run. Run while you can. Here comes the white man. Thank you very much. Just want to leave you with some words that one of our fearless leaders said to the warriors that day, 150 years ago. He said, strong hearts, brave hearts, to the front, cowards, disabled, to the rear. Today is a good day to die. So today I, Steve Leadercharge, want to say to you, believers to the front, non-believers to the rear. June 25th, always was and always will be a good day to be proud. Hokahe. Have a good day, everybody.
Next, I'd like to introduce Donovan Sprague, followed by Steve Vance.
Petu Wash Day. It's a good day, and welcome everybody to everyone who's has an interest in this place. And I want to give a special acknowledgement to our entire nation of the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, the Ocheti, Shakowee, also to Canada, to the people in Saskatchewan, to the people in Manitoba, a lot of Lakota and Dakota there who were a very important part of this. So on the 125th I was here, and so it was really cool to meet some of you that came up and said, hey, I took some pictures of you on the 125th. Man, where did the time go? Anniversary. 25 years ago I was sitting with Joe Medicine Crow and Senator Ben Nighthorse Campbell, and right next to me was Captain Ben Teen's granddaughter. Wow. So we recognize the a great victory day for our people, and also maybe a reflection for those from soldier families. So with the LDN, the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, we have reservations now today in South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, Montana, which is like Fort Peck with the coming of the Assiniboine Sioux, and of course Saskatchewan and Manitoba that was mentioned. And a statistic I want to put out there right away is that 50% of American Indians are veterans of U.S. wars, and there isn't any ethnic group in America that comes close to that number. It's most honorable to be a man or woman to serve your country, to serve the United States of America. And a lot of our people even excel in the special services. And also I want to acknowledge all the horseback riders that are coming in, all the planning that went into this at all of our nations. And then finally, I want to mention our family ourselves. So my Lakota name is Chinkahu Wakantaya. It's a high backbone. I think it was General Miles, when he's looking for my grandfather, he said Chief Hump, so that became a last name, and we're part of the Hump and Crazy Horse families. The first Hump was his sister was Rattling Blanket Woman, the biologic mother of Crazy Horse, who he lost his mother at a young age, and these uncle's job to step in and provide, that leadership. And some of the stories about Hump, now this is the first Hump, who there's also no picture of like Crazy Horse, but one of the things he had is he's called a mentor instructor, but he had him practicing with bow and arrow, and he was practicing shooting grasshoppers. So he became one of the most outstanding leaders. Hump was more of a hitman family name, from the Black Buffalo to Longhorns and the One Horn and Touch the Cloud and Spotted Elk, who became known as Bigfoot. History was killed at Wounded Knee. And then on the other side is the Hump family. It's mainly all Humps, high backbone. So the first Hump was killed in 1870. All of our winter counts. History, it's recorded in there, yet they bring him back to fight here 6 years later, but it's his son, Hump, we could call him the second one. He's 26 years old here, and he, you can find, there are some sources, I never see it around any of the forts or military installations, but there are records, and that he had about one of the largest bands here, which was in the range of, his band was around 800 to 1,000 warrior men, women, and children. But he also surrendered from Canada later. So there's a Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull surrender census by, my friend Ephraim is here who wrote that book. And Hump has 714 people, by far the largest, who come in from Canada at that time. And you have to keep in mind too that they didn't sign no treaties. The riders, that's really awesome, that they retrace all this, but our people were already here. Hump and Crazy Horse were out here. They were living here. They married into the Cheyenne. And for unity, with high backbone Hump, he had 2 Cheyenne wives. I'm from one of the Cheyenne wives, is White Calf, and so I'm part Cheyenne. And he also had a Crow captive, Conkey, we say. So what about unity right there? They say we were always fighting. I said, well, they had kids, so there's the answer to that. And like was said earlier, with the veteran speech here. So with the agencies here then, signing no treaty, Hump, the son, had 13 more years of freedom by not signing the Fort Laramie Treaty. So they became known as the Hostiles, and his hostile group include mainly Minikoju, quite a few Itazacho, and a lot of Cheyenne, and a few Oglala. So his father also led a lot of the Oglala, so there was a lot of mixture between these groups, and you married outside of your bands. So, we were very close, to the Cheyenne. So I think that history has not really been known about up here, like down on our 5 reservations, because for the Lakota anyway, there were 5 reservations established, which moved us effectively out of here at Pine Ridge, Rosebud, Standing Rock, Cheyenne River, and Lower Brule were for Lakota. And the next generation just heard about this. They couldn't leave the reservation. And they drew pictures and they said, well, this is where this happened and all of that happened. But one of the really good things, I guess, for in the military world anyway, is that Hump was interviewed by Walter Camp. So there's the Walter Camp interviews. And so the some of the events that were happening then, we moved out here, I said, and so there were a few decades there where this was after Sand Creek in 1864 with the Cheyenne Arapaho, and so the Cheyenne brought a war pipe to us, and we were in the Bozeman Trail area. And so we accepted that war pipe, and some of the first events that took place were at Julesburg, Colorado. Julesburg, Colorado in 1865. The next thing that happened was at Casper, the Platte Bridge fight, and Red Butte, same day, 1866, followed by the Fetterman fight, 1866. December 21st, 1866. The next year, the wagon box and the hayfield fight. Hayfield fight being over here at Fort C.F. Smith, where the Wapia looks like sitting over there. The wagon box fight at Fort Phil Kearney on that Bozeman Trail, or the road going would be and burned by some of the Cheyennes. So you've got up here in the middle, you got Fort Phil Kearney south of Sheridan, and then you got Fort Connor that Connor built and became Fort Reno east of KC. But up here, that's a name for another person here. So yeah, with the Koju on the flag, Minikoju, Itazincho, the four bands, 4 of the 7 there. And then you've got Oglala at Pine Ridge, Sichangu at Rosebud and Lower Brule, and Hoop Papa at Standing Rock. So we're going to have a test. I'm a professor, so we're going to have a test over those names, 7 names later. So not to mention the Minnesota Upper Sioux and Lower Sioux and Santee, but I wanted to recognize all of them, the Spirit Lake people, and so with the Lakota here, the Victory Day, the other big thing here, I just want to go into. Thanks for the service that our family provided here, and right where you sat, our warriors came. The village was attacked. Women, children. You had to think about elders, handicapped, and you didn't just abandon, the camp. You had to keep going back and forth. But over to life here, I said Walter Camino fight. When they got down there, they were